Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling. And man, I really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel and watching the video today and spending some time with me, because we're going to be talking about the NPFL today, because they just announced actually yesterday or earlier today, the roster for the 2025 season. And guys, it is slam packed full of big names. I am super impressed with this list of names. So we're gonna go through the list here. I'm gonna talk a little bit about NPFL and the tournament world in general, and definitely curious to get your feedback on it as well. Also, guys, before we get started, just 2 quick housekeeping tips that you guys have to endure every single video, and I appreciate you guys doing so. Just want to invite everybody to please swing by and check out my lake map breakdowns that I build for Fish the Moment. I'll link the link in the description here. These are great resources to learn more about your favorite lakes across the country, give you guys some good fishing spots. And also, you can shoot me private messages on my Facebook page if you have any questions on them, but I'll link that in the description to the lake map breakdown link. And also, guys, please check out our Solarbat Signature Series sunglasses that I got from Solarbat, my RB2 and RB3s. Got them at 50% off right now, so I'll put the Solarbat link in the description if you guys would like to order a pair. Much appreciated. These are the RB2s right here. Okay, guys, NPFL came out with their roster for next year. I'm going to read this thing off and comment a little bit on it. First of all, I am pleasantly, I'm not surprised, but I am surprised a little bit. I'm not surprised at this list of names, because everybody knows that NPFL stood up this year. They became the adult in the room. They set the example, and they banned the cheater box for next year. So a big reason I think a lot of these hammers have went over to NPFL is they are tired of the forward-facing cheater box sonar crap. It's just, they're full of it. They're sick and tired of it. So this rule change, in my opinion, is pretty much solely responsible for these big names going over there. There's really not a lot of other reasons on there, because the thing about it is 2 years ago, or 3 or whatever, when the NPFL started, I didn't know anyone that fished them. It's like I looked down through the list, and I didn't recognize anybody in there. And now these are household names that are in there. So got to give credit where credit's due. And like I said, that credit goes behind them having the courage and having the wisdom to ban the cheater box from tournaments. So let's go through this list and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay, here are some of the names that this is just a few of them, because there's others on there you'd recognize too. But some of these a lot of these are Elite Series guys, several Bassmaster Classic champions. We got Todd Otten, Hunter Bauman, Tommy Biffle, Scott Canterbury, Jason Christie, Hank Cherry, both Classic champions, John Cox, David Fritz, Buddy Gross, Matt Heron, Kobe Krieger, Wes Logan, Bill Lowen, Lindell Martin, Pete Pons, Daryl Robertson. If you guys don't know who Daryl Robertson is, you haven't followed fishing much. Former Forrest Wood Cup champion. He was a hammer back in the day. Scott Suggs, another Forrest Wood. He won $1 million at the Forrest Wood Cup. Gerald Swindle and Kyle Welcher. Okay, guys, those are some big names. A lot of Elite Series dudes on there going over to fish the NPFL. Now, a couple of different things with this, a couple of different comments I want to make in this. First of all, I am surprised that so many of these guys are fishing 2 circuits. I guess the economy is just freaking booming right now for people to be able to afford to shell out this massive amount of entry fees, to fish 2 different circuits. Because I think the NPFL is a $5,000 entry, I believe. I may be wrong, but I think it's $5,000. And on top of that, the thing about it, every tournament circuit out there, including NPFL, Bassmaster Elite Series, Bass Pro Tour, the payouts all suck on them. It's like they're terrible. Tournaments are a money pit. And on top of the tournaments being a money pit, the fact that you got so many different tournament organizations out there, like NPFL popping up now. You got the Elite Series, you got the, all the MLF deals. It's like it's next to impossible to get sponsors now. There's too many tournament fishermen. There's not enough sponsorship dollars to go around. So when somebody reaches a tour level circuit, like the NPFL, which I do consider a tour level circuit now with these names on it, and the Bassmasters and the Bass Pro Tour, in the past, once you reach that level of a tour level angler, it was pretty easy to get sponsorships, and it's not now. It's next to impossible. There's no guarantee once you reach the top level that you're going to get any sponsorships at all. simply because there's too many tournaments, there's too many tournament anglers. So given that, it's like this, I've got mixed feelings on this whole deal, because right now we have got three major circuits. We've got the Bassmaster Elite Series, which has, in my opinion, it is the least, it's the least valuable circuit now, simply because what Bassmaster, all the bonehead moves they've made, and the fact that nobody knows who anyone is on the Elite Series now, and it's just a forward-facing sonar fest. That's all it is. And then you got the Bass Pro Tour, which there is more legitimacy to that tour just because their format and the names that are in it. And then you got the NPFL. So in my opinion, when I rank the three tours there, I rank the NPFL as the #1 circuit in this country right now, simply because of the format change they have, not allowing the cheater box, followed by the Bass Pro Tour, and the Elite Series is in last place amongst the three major tours there. So the good thing about this and the bad thing about this is the NPFL has sort of set the bar here as far as having this rule change. But the bad thing about it is you got another circuit. So anytime that you have more tournaments and more circuits, it makes the tournaments less impactful. It's like it used to be 20 or 30 years ago when basically we just had one circuit like the Bassmaster Top 100s. If you won a tournament, it's like you were like a celebrity for a long time. It's like we only had like one tournament every other month. And if you won a tournament, everybody in the whole fishing world knew about it, and you got sponsorships because of it. And now there are so many freaking tournaments and so many formats and so many side tournaments and team deals and oddball weirdo type secondary tournaments. Nobody knows who even won a tournament. It doesn't make any difference. I can't tell you anyone that hardly won a tournament last year on any three of these tournament organizations, because nobody can keep up with it. It's like somebody wins a tournament, and then the very next week there's another tournament and another one and another one and another one, and a bunch of tournaments get won by dudes you never heard before, or the 20-year-old flat brimmers. So it gets watered down in this sea of like, I don't want to just call it competition, but it's like it's been diluted so much. It's like tournament fishing has been diluted to the level that it doesn't have the same impact on the viewers, it doesn't have the same impact on the ratings, doesn't have the same impact on, what it means to qualify for a championship or a classic. The value of tournament competition and the value of tournament organizations, the value of tournament organizations, the value that tournaments provide to sponsors, and the value that tournament anglers that fish these circuits provide to all those people is at an all-time low right now. Tournaments are amongst the least valuable forms of marketing of any type of avenue that's out there in fishing right now, simply because social media has taken over. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff has replaced it, simply because it's got watered down. Now, if we had one circuit, let's go back in time to 1990, where all you had was the Bassmaster Top 100 circuit. That is the best time of the history of fishing right there. You had one circuit. There was a clear-cut, definitive definition of who was a professional angler and who was not. If you were on the Bassmaster Top 100 circuit, you were a professional angler. There was no other gray areas. Nobody else was a professional angler. The Top 100s were the pro anglers. All the classic qualifiers came out of it. If you won a tournament, everybody knew who you were. If you qualified for the classic, you could parlay that into some great sponsorships. It was a great time in the fishing industry. And with the advent of the FLW Tour, the advent of all the MLF stuff, the advent of like the NPFL, the advent of freaking 6 billion regional circuits out there, it has diluted to the sport to a point where it's at an all-time low. That's all it is. And it all boils down to the fact, guys, we have too many tournaments and we have too many tournament anglers. And just imagine, for example, if you took any other sport out there, you take NFL football, you take the major leagues in baseball, you take the PGA Tour, you take professional tennis. Imagine if those organizations had so many different subsets competing with them and against them, to where it diluted everything down. And instead of you having X number of NFL teams, now you had 50 different organizations competing for that same particular pie of viewership, sponsorships, everything with that. Imagine how it would degrade the sport. That all of our most popular sports of all time would be degraded to a level of an all-time low. That is what has happened with professional fishing now. We are effectively at the all-time lowest point in the history of tournament fishing. Tournament fishing started by Ray Scott in 1967. Guys, I've been in it since 1985, and I can tell you right now, as an observer up until 1985 and a participant since 1985, we are at an all-time low in the opportunities, the public perception, future moving forward, potential, growth within the sport. Everything is at an all-time low from the poor decisions of the tournament organizations. Again, too many tournaments, too many tournament anglers, too many people with their hands in the pie, too many people trying to make a buck off of tournament angling, and we have not had a tournament organization that has emerged as the leader. Bassmaster relinquished their lead as the tournament organizations back in the mid-90s, and best thing that could ever happen to the deal, guys, is if you could get a tournament organization like Bassmaster to be a nonprofit organization and organize it to the point to where nothing else you were not a professional angler unless you fished the Bassmaster tournament trail. And that cannot be done when it is a for-profit business, in my opinion. It's like there's too many other alternative interests that are present within that to really look forward to what is best for the future of the sport and the anglers within it. So I can tell you right now, guys, it's like I said, I've been in it a long time and I've experienced it firsthand. I've been able to make a living in the sport for a long time. I've been in the trenches in it a long time. And if we could go back to 1990 and the way that the tournament world was back then and work within that framework and keep it within that framework, there's no telling where the sport would be right now. I think it would be on par with the same level of some of the most popular sports in the history of this country. There's more participants in the sport of bass fishing than any other sport out there. You've got 55 million anglers out there, 55 million people that purchase fishing licenses every year, and the tournament organizations have done a terrible job on capitalizing on that potential customer base they have. So anyway, I know we got off to the side a little bit, but anyway, I wanted to read that off to you. Like I said, congratulations. Kudos to NPFL for doing the right thing. Bassmaster and MLF, shame on you. You guys know better. If you were smart and you would replace all of the people that have been making boneheaded decisions within the management of both your organizations and listen to this model that NPFL has put out there, that would go a huge step in the right directions for you to regain the confidence and the trust and the enthusiasm of the public. But as long as you continue to push the cheater box down the throats of the bass anglers of this country who are overwhelmingly against it, you are going to continually to relegate yourself to a demise in the future of those organizations. So I encourage everybody to support NPFL. I encourage all the Bassmaster Elite Series dudes and all the Bass Pro Tour dudes to drop it and get to NPFL. Support an organization that has the best interests of the sport involved in mind by their move to ban technology and forward-facing sonar. So let me let you guys think. Talk later.